All right, family. We in the house today with the general. Okay, let me go ahead and get that background together. I'm gonna do this one first. I'm gonna do this one first. Yeah. There we go. Olmec versus the Egyptian. Both African. We don't want nobody to get it twisted. We don't want nobody to get it twisted. We ain't it really ain't no competition, no way. So ain't no sense of even, ain't no sense of even playing with this. Okay. Ain't no sense of playing with this. We're gonna be talking about the African. Matter of fact, let me put this one down. I'm gonna put this one on down. I'm gonna remove this one and put this one on in. Put this one on. You're in the house, family. You're in the right place. You rocking with the best. The Olmec versus the Egyptian. A lot of people's in. We're gonna talk about the fathers of this this American predate Mayan predate the Egyptian. All that is a cult. That ain't got nothing to do with some crackpots. You know what I'm saying? Running from the truth. They was looking for a place of the origin of civilization outside of Africa because they couldn't claim the one in Africa. So they was looking for anything they could. And when they run out of places on the planet, they went up in the stars and shit, started looking for Anunnaki, anything other than, black power. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've been tightening this one up anyway. This one is a beast. I got so many lectures in my damn computer, man. It's just ridiculous. Let me get this one in here. Okay. Okay. We're in the house. We're in the house. Okay. And so yeah, we had some family come in the chat earlier today, and they don't know. I'm already familiar with the Mayan and supposedly predate. I've been studying, and I'm gonna show y'all because I'm gonna do Hood from the Holy Land. Part one tonight. I'm gonna go on and rock out for y'all and show y'all what it is, and I have to do that because a lot of the family new to the general. I had to reintroduce myself. I had to reintroduce myself, and so it's necessary because people's is trying. They running from Africa, and Egypt is too profound for you to come up with just anything out of your mouth. See, the one thing about Egypt, the manifestation is real. You know, the manifestation is real. And most of the time, the people that come to refute what they see in Egypt have nothing to show. And like I say, this is show and tell. You can't show up to show and tell with nothing to show. We don't want a dialogue. The pictures and the visuals that I put up, man, it damn near do the work for me. It's not all, but it's the majority of the work. When you got some proof beyond any reasonable doubt, then it is easier to win, you know, the debate. If there is a debate. Okay. And for me, it's no debate. And we're just gonna bring forth, the most profound of the pyramids of the Americas, and and like I say, I have much veneration. Like I said, I did the first Voyages of the Nile lecture back in 2007. So I don't need nobody come tell me nothing. Half y'all that probably trying to refute me wasn't even born in 2007. You know what I'm saying? So I want y'all to go somewhere and sit on down and listen. And even if you don't believe, sometimes it take you a while, It take you a while to get where you're going. You can't get it all in a year or two or three or four. It take a lot of years to master this information. Okay. So again, now we're talking about right here the pyramid of Zoja. This first and foremost is the oldest stone structure on the planet. Stone, okay? We talking about blocks. We're not talking about we talking about bricks. You feel me? When bricks came into existence. Okay, and this is very significant. We're not talking about mounds. Mounds is not a building. We're talking about buildings. We living in buildings today. Okay, this is not Lord of the Rings. We're not living in we're not hobbits, and we're not living in the ground. We're not living in no damn no damn, one of them, what they call them, huts and shit. We're not living in nothing like that. Okay, we living in buildings. And so when you go downtown or you go to, the modern skyscraper and you see bricks, this is where it started. Okay, this is where it started. Of course, it's a step, but you can't start with the step pyramid because it came before the step pyramid. Okay, did you see the master bar? Did you see the master bar? Okay, then let's talk about that. So for the first three dynasty, now explain this to me. Have you ever seen the master bar in America? Where do you see the master bar? I want to see, for 300 years they used the master bar. You keep talking. They didn't start with the step pyramid. That's not true. That's not true. They started with the one level master bar, which you see right here. This is what they started with. Okay. And aside many of the pyramids, you see the mastaba. And so this is the development stage. It took place in Africa. Okay. You keep talking about the step. No, it wasn't the step pyramid, it was the mastaba. And when Imhotep, now when it was pristine, this is how it would look. Okay, so they did not start with the step pyramid. They started with the mastaba, and Imhotep actually it was a mastaba at first, and then he elevated into uh the step pyramid, which he really just stacked the mastabas on top of one another. Okay, you cannot find this nowhere in 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 uh in Mesoamerica. That's a lie. Okay, that's a lie. The whole complete, and then what's crazy? They even got the burials before the mastaba. Stop it, because before the mastaba, they had a smaller structure like stones above the grave. This is in the Nile Valley. And so you see where they went from even more rudimentary graves. difficulties. Don't worry. Don't worry, little children. We in the house. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, don't worry. Be happy. We in the house. Ain't nothing to it. We back. Everybody run. Don't run. Y'all know I'm coming back. It's just the computer got, I had too many things up. That motherfucker just shut down. It said you rocking the house so cold. Yeah, yeah. We in the house. Okay, we in the house. So even before the master bar, you can see the earlier burial types in the Nile Valley that was leading up to the master bar. You see, you can see the rudimentary, but it had some stones above the grave. You can see even one down in the left. It had an arch, and so you can see they were still messing with stone even at that time. They was even messing, and then they developed up to the what they call the master bar. But you can see here, you can see the levels of development. So the brother keep talking about the step B, but you're not looking at the ones that, and you could tell because, you can look, as they develop the burial up under the master bar remains the same. That's very significant. You see, that's very significant. The same one under the master bar is the same one up under the pyramid. And so the only one I ever seen similar to it is the one at Palenka. But even though it had an L-shaped stairwell in there, the Egyptian pyramid had like a sliding it wasn't a stairway, but it was a passageway where you could slide the sarcophagus down, and that's what the slant is for, to be able to slide, because some of them sarcophaguses was heavy as hell, and so they had to have a little help to slide it down through there. And so when you looking at the master bar, the earlier rudimentary level burials, pre-dynastic, is what led up to the master bar. And so you can't show no development. You keep talking about the step pyramid. We showing you where the step pyramid came from, when Imhotep stacked the master bars. So if they brought it from America, the step pyramid, why were they developing and what was they doing with these rudimentary burials before you could see each stage lead to the next? That is ridiculous. You is in a state of confusion. And you're gonna stay in one because the peoples out here could see the facts, man. Okay. Egypt got two, and not only you never show one pyramid where you use masonry, where you cut bricks and you cut blocks. You did not show me that. Okay, because you don't have it. Okay, you can't say and they came over, because nothing. You can lay stones and stucco all day. That don't mean you gonna ever develop into cutting blocks. Which obvious, if that was all you needed to develop the type of pyramids you see in Egypt, then why didn't you produce that in America? I mean, you telling me, well, what would give them the ability to innovate on that? You understand what I'm saying? If you brought the original blueprint for the pyramid, I mean, so you saying the Egyptians were more advanced than the Olmecs, that they took what the Olmecs had, but yet they got it from the Olmec. That don't make sense. That don't make, and the Olmecs themselves or the Mayans themselves never ever developed to the stage of masonry. Okay, so when we looking at the step pyramid, this is at 3,000. Now, I don't know what dating system you own. I don't know what dating system you own. See, that's that occult shit. You know, most even the universities today, and most black scholars, who have done it. I've been to both. Okay, I've been to both, and I'm not gonna go, and I'm gonna show you that later on. But I'm gonna stick to the facts today. What we watching, and so this is Una's pyramid, and He was in the fifth dynasty, and they removed the blocks. And you can see them damn blocks. Do you know how many pyramids Egypt built? Egypt had over like 160 pyramids, man, with megalithic structure. Okay, with megalithic structure. And you gonna matter of fact, let me jump down here and show you a couple of the Olmec pyramid. Now, by far, this is the best one. Teotihuacan. Okay, Teotihuacan. And so I've been there. But at the same time, they did not use blocks, cut blocks. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna show you this. I'm gonna show you this so you can remember, how this shit go. This is masonry. Here we go, right here. Let me drop these in right here so you can see this. Okay, here we go. Let me drop this in. Man, I got so many damn lectures, it's ridiculous. I'm surprised this computer ain't shut the fuck down. I be asking too much of this computer, man. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? I'm like the what's his name? The motherfucker on the Christmas, what's his called? The Grinch. I'm like the Grinch with the little dog and shit. He had the damn little dog and shit pulling that big ass sled up the damn thing. You know what I'm saying? That's how I got this computer. I got this computer pulling all this heavy ass knowledge. This motherfucker struggling too. Okay, so when you look at Teotihuacan, you can see they ain't even got cut blocks. You see, and this is the best they got, and this is Olmec, but they don't have cut masonry. With the masonry, you gonna need the tools that they use today. You're gonna need the square, you're gonna need the plumb line. You can't put no plumb line on that shit. How you gonna put a plumb line on something like that? It got to be smooth. You got to have a leveler to make sure that you need all the tools of a mason today. This is where the tools come from. Okay, so you cannot show us any, but you saying it came from that. But that don't make no damn sense. You got to make this shit make sense. You is in a state of confusion. And see, you gonna hate me because you can't beat me. And the reason why you can't beat me, you show up to show and tell with nothing to show. And you so out of it that you will say anything to try to, prove a mythology which you cannot prove. And when you look at you can see that even the alignment of Teotihuacan is let me see, do I have them? Let me see, do I got them on here? I had them in here somewhere. Here you go, right here. Now you can see right there where Khufu, Khafra, and Menkaure, the three pyramids at Giza, is aligned to Orion's belt. But see, I'm gonna show you something that nobody else ever, because they quick to put Giza up there, but I'm gonna show you where Giza got it from. Because you can go to Saqqara and see the same thing. If you see Unis and you see Zoger, and then you see now I believe that's Yusakov over there. You can see that is aligned the same way. You can see the one, you got the two in alignment, you feel me? And then you got the one that's kind of off to the side. And that's how you got that one that's kind of off to the side. And that's how it go. But it started even at Saqqara. It started at even at Saqqara. Okay. So you can see, and so when you not only there, but even the ones in China, Teotihuacan, all of them are aligned because the masters laid it out. Laid it out. The first 365 day, 364 and 1/4 day calendar in the world come out of Egypt. I seen it on the wall. Okay. Okay. Not the Mayan. The Olmec calendar is the Egyptian calendar. That's what it is. Okay. So I wanted to bring that out. Okay. And it's a line because Osiris or Orion was sacred to Osiris in ancient Egypt. Okay. And so I'm gonna get off into the burial rites at a different time, his ascension into Orion's belt. Okay, but here again, we showing you let me get up here. The pyramid of the moon. I've been on top of that. I've been on top of the pyramid of the sun right here too. But when you look how tall, this is nothing compared. I mean, the pyramid. Now, what's crazy that a lot of people is not taught. This pyramid is not older than the pyramid of Khufu. Don't listen to nobody. You doing yourself a disservice to believe some shit like that. If you see this pyramid right here, and people's is talking about, and this is another thing that really refutes that. This pyramid right here is so fucking amazing that people's is saying aliens built it, that aliens landed from out of the stars and gave the knowledge or built the damn pyramid themselves. Have you ever heard anybody say that somebody alien landed in the Americas and built anything? No, because it's not as amazing as this. You see, this shit right here is so far beyond anything that was ever created in the Americas. This is crazy. You cannot compare this to that. That pyramid got over 2 million blocks on it. It got over 2 million blocks on it. Here it is. And you talking about some of the heaviest ones is at the top, weighing over 100 tons. But the least stone on that is two tons. The least stone is 2 tons, all the way up to 100 tons. And you can't even, how in the hell can you get from that and it start? But how can you get to that from this? How? Nigga, you talking hundreds of thousands of years. You ain't talking about no 2, 3 fucking years. You talking hundreds of thousands of years between that architecture right there and the architecture on the right. You are talking hundreds of thousands of damn years. And the fact that they align many of those chambers in that pyramid to certain stars and constellations in the sky is fucking ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. You see, so ain't nobody should, but we adore and honor, the pyramids of the West because these are our ancestors' pyramids and they are miraculous. This is a very miraculous pyramid of Chichen Itza, and the science of it is still one and the same because you got them 2 serpents coming down the side. I had that. But that's the same thing as the serpent coming down on the Pharaoh's crown. The tail, and you see it all over, even in the Naga Kushites. You see the heavenly dragon, and you'll see the tail coming from the sky, and you'll see them all over the roofs in Thailand coming down. It's the same science. Okay? People keep talking about, no, this is a universal Kushite science. So you see it in the Naga Kushites, you see it in the Olmec Kushites, and you see it in Africa. Okay, but I had it where you could see the serpent coming down on the side of it. I don't know where that particular one. I'm getting it together though, because I'm on the comedic one. I'm on the comedic one. I forgot I'm on the ancient Egypt lecture. So that probably was on the Olmec. Let me see if I can drop it down over here. Is it over here? Hold on. Here it go right here. Here it go right here. Boom. And so you see it right there. I think that's at the equinoxes. It'll light up, it'll light up. I think this one is at I think it's at dawn. It's not dawn. I think right when the sun is setting, you could see it. You could see the serpent and it's the heavenly serpent coming down from from the heavens. I don't know if it was Orion, but you could see it coming down, and this is what they call the second coming of the Christ. And so the Naga Christ. And so this is now this is the temple of inscriptions. And this is the pyramid of Pekah. And I was there too, and I'll show you that later on. But most definitely and it's not cut blocks like the blocks you see in ancient Egypt, not by far. You don't see that. You're not on that level, You're not on the level. And what's crazy about it, a lot of these pyramids in the Americas got mounds up under them, so it even got some help. It even got some help standing up, which when you go into Egypt, you don't have no help. Those are freestanding structures. They hold up on their own weight. Okay. You go up in under some of them pyramids in the Americas and they got a mound up under it. So that's almost like a handicap. That's a handicap, man. You don't know what you're talking about. Those, even though they got, and this is truly not, and this is a pyramidal like structure. This is not a true pyramid by the definition of geometry. Okay, let me show you. So you see this now. So you can see this now. I want y'all to see this from the top. I think I got it from the top. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I thought I did. I ain't gonna look too. Yeah, here you go. Here you go, right here. I'm glad. I'm so glad I can straighten this shit up while I'm working. I can straighten it up while I'm working. Okay, let me drop it in right here. Okay, now you see Teotihuacan from the top. You see it from the top, and then you see uh the pyramid of Khufu from the top. Okay, that's a true pyramid. What is the definition of a pyramid using geometry? Yeah, it take it, man. I don't know. I didn't overloaded my damn AI till it don't even want to work no damn more. It's so mad. It's so mad at me. It say, "Nigga, you breaking AI." You know what I'm saying? It'll pop in there in a minute. But anyway, this is not a true pyramid. And so when you use the definition of that's a pyramid. Okay. This is a pyramid like structure. People say a step pyramid. You could call it whatever I never heard in geometry, there's no step pyramid. I just want y'all to know that. And so that's a handicap. That's a handicap. You giving shit either make a pyramid or don't make. And so this is, where you get a stacked master bar. Even Imhotep, but he gave him the blueprint to get to the next level. He gave him the blueprint to get to the next level. And so, and many times when you look at the outside, you can see the steps in there, but they smoothed it out. They smoothed it out and they put that capstone at the top, and that made, gave it the true pyramid. Okay. That's what made it the true pyramid. Let me where I'm at. But and then you got the pyramid of the magician at Uxmal. I was there also. And you could just look at the stones, man. These are not blocks. This is, and so yes, they are I mean, it's stone, but it's not blocks. It's been fitted in like stucco, it's like almost like a plaster, around. I bet you it's a mound up under there. I bet you it's some type of mound, and that's what they would use. And then they would come around the mound, you feel what I'm saying, with some stucco, with some like plaster, and puts stones inside of it, but they were not smooth stones like the pyramids of ancient Egypt. You see, so when you look at the best of what they got left, and like I say, I honor that because even to have this is astounding. I'm not taking away from the Olmecs. We honor, but this is a Nile Valley uh, influence civilization is without any doubt. It's influenced by the Nile Valley. And that the Africans and they left from Africa and came here. Okay. And what's crazy about it is that, when you think about the megalithic structures all the way down the Nile, you see, you only got really megalithics, and this is not even megalithic because you got to have stone to be, even the little smallest shit in Africa. Now, this is Nefer Sobek. What's her name? Neferu Sobek. I think it's Neferu Sobek. This was the daughter of Amenemhat III. And you can look at her temple alone. This is stone. Egypt is stone, man. You ain't fucking with no stucco and no shit like that. It ain't even no mortar in this. You know what I'm saying? These stones is holding itself up. No mortar, no dirt mound up under this or nothing. And I brought this up because this temple is out in the middle of the damn desert almost. It's away from the Nile, and it's I think it's around the Fayum, which is the lake. Is going west of the Nile, and this temple was built out there, but some of the largest stones in all of Egypt. You got some like close to some damn 80 tons, some of them stones. Look at how big some of them damn stones is up there, man. You got some stones on there, man. Look at that one down here at the bottom and shit. And another thing, which you see even in the Americas, is how they, that zigzag polygonal, what they call it, polygonal masonry. Where you have a lot of, crazy shapes, and they fit that shit in there like that. And Egypt master, everybody else may got a little, I think they got that one wall in Peru that got something like close to that, but Africa got it all over, So it's without any doubt, no other civilization, and I want to stress this, built on a megalithic level for 3,000 continuous years. I'm sick of y'all, man. Y'all misleading the people, and you will be destroyed for a grievous lie like that. There is no other civilization on the planet. I'm talking about Nile Valley, from Egypt to Nubia into Aksum, even into Great Zimbabwe is another megalithic, and you using stone. You're using masonry where they fit it in with no mortar. It's self-standing. So you talking about Aksum, even into damn Aksum, and where Aksum was lifting up, them what they call the stelae. Some of the largest structures on the planet. That one stele at Aksum is the largest monolith carved from one piece of stone in all the ancient world at Aksum. That damn stone was over 500 tons. Over 500 tons raised. We talking about raised. Now that one obelisk down in Aswan, it was an obelisk that is called the cracked obelisk. They never raised it out of the quarry. It was for Hatshepsut, and it had a crack in it, so they never raised it. And so, but if they would have raised that obelisk out of there, it would have been the heaviest monolith carved from one solid block. It would have been over 1,000 some tons. Imagine that. 1,000, and they intended to sell that damn thing all the way back to Egypt, you know, and you talking about you in Aswan, you damn near 700 miles south, and imagine what kind of boat they would have needed to sail that damn Utah, and they show you them little boat. And no other ancient civilization was doing nothing along. That man is confused, man. I feel bad for him. That man to keep coming in my chat talking about the is even greater, nigga. I feel bad for you. I do. I feel bad for you. Okay, family. I appreciate y'all. We just getting started. We got two more, and I'm gonna go on over here to the next. Make sure y'all get over to Patreon, man. If y'all see the general back on, we back on. We're gonna be moving the crowd, and we're gonna be sitting We're gonna be sitting YouTube down. We shutting them down for real. It's a wrap. Game, as they say, games is over. So I want y'all to come back here and build with the general. Again, Patreon, General Seti, Etsy, One Stop, and KingSeti.com is there for your pleasure. Get over there, check it out, and I'll be right back. Black Power.